Hello and welcome to this demonstration of the eMapper system. This is the new data search delivery system that NEYEDC will be using to deliver our ecological data search results as of February 2024. So this session will just be a short demonstration of the eMapper system, how you'll receive your search results, how you can view your search results, and ways you can tailor eMapper to your own needs. So first of all, I'll just cover a couple of basics. This is what your intro to your search will look like. When you receive your search results, you'll get them via email, and in that email there will be a unique eMapper link. There will be one link per search request that you make, and you can click through to access that link. The expiry date on that link is 1 year, and that is the same as the data license that we've always attributed to our ecological data search results. So that means that you can click on and access this data through the eMapper link as many times as you would like within that year-long period. The link is not live, so as we add more data to our system, the data within your search won't change, but like I said, you can access it multiple times. So when you first click on your eMapper link, this is the screen that you'll see. It just has a quick summary of your search and some important information, including our terms and conditions, and a couple of points about sharing the data, confidentiality, and amending downloaded records, when you can use the data until, etc. There is a button here to view summary that will just give you a very short summary of what's contained in your results. So that will be number of records and listing the sites lists that are present within your search results. So if we go to map, this will show you what the basic eMapper screen looks like. So you can see that initially you'll just be shown species records on your map. But first I'll just quickly show you around the interface. So this is your interactive map. As with a lot of interactive mapping web services, you can move around by dragging your mouse. You can also zoom in and out using the scroll on your mouse. And essentially navigate like that to view your search results as you would like. The standard base mapping for this is OS, but if you come down here to the bottom left-hand corner and hover over this box, you'll see there are different options, including aerial, hybrid, you have road, OpenStreetMapping, and also back to OS. So you've got a couple of different options, and you can set that as you wish. I've just put this back to OS mapping. You can also see that in the middle, this is obscured a little bit by a record, but you can see that there is a marker that marks the central point of your search, so the grid reference that you submitted or the site that you submitted when you made the request. There are a couple of other options up here to the top right-hand side of the mapping window. So you can see there's a plus and a minus. This just zooms in and out of the mapping window. You've also got an option to find a place, postcode, or grid reference. So you can utilize that to find somewhere within your search area. There is an option to measure the distance between 2 points, although I will point out that eMapper as standard will return distances from records and the central points of sites to the center of your search area. So if, for example, you need to measure the distance between the central search point and a certain record, eMapper will be able to pull that information out for you, and you will not need to do that manually. The other two options are just for grid references. So this one displays grid reference labels by the side of species records, and this one will show the grid reference at the mouse cursor. The other thing that I'll mention when talking about the general mapping window is this viewing mode toggle in the panel on the right-hand side. So you can see at the moment that's set to confidential. So there's a difference, obviously, between confidential and public viewing. So public viewing, if we switch this toggle, it will change any records that have some sort of restriction on them. This is usually related to resolution of the record. So, for example, if we have a data provider who would like their records of certain species blurred, if they're going to be released to the public, if you set the toggle to public, it will adjust those resolutions accordingly. So if you're going to be using any outputs from eMapper in the public domain, we would ask that you toggle this to public before downloading or utilising any of those search results. Okay, so first I will cover species records in eMapper. So as I mentioned, when you first enter your eMapper search, you'll see that your species records show automatically on the map. You can see that there are different resolutions here. So for anything that is 1 kilometre or above, you'll see that they're represented by squares within their 1 kilometre grid, and records of a finer resolution are represented by circles. You can also see here that they have been allocated different colours. So in eMapper, the different colours represent different taxonomic groups. So you can see in the panel on the right-hand side, species is expanded, and you can see all of your taxonomic groups. If you would like to change any of these colours, you can just double-click on the icon next to it, and you can play about with these options to change the colour of that particular taxonomic group or group that's shown in eMapper. And if you click Save, you'll see that they've changed on the base mapping. You can use these pluses and minuses next to the taxonomic groups to expand, and this will show you the individual species within them. Or you can also toggle Hide All or Show All, which will turn all species on and off. Up here we have filters. One of the nice things about eMapper is there are a lot of different filtering options for your data. If we click on filters, you can see that it brings up lots of different options. So we've got options to filter by year, month, distance from the central point of the search area, and also by resolution. You've also got some lists to filter through. So you can see there are status lists that filter by different designations. Species sets, at the moment there's just invasive plants in there. You can filter by taxonomic group or search component. So we use legally protected species and priority species. So you can set filters here and they will be applied, and you'll be able to see those filters applied in the main mapping window. There are also a couple of table options here. You'll see this one says View Species Records. If you click on that, it will give you essentially a standard table of species records. It will also show you as one of the columns the distance to the central point. So you can click on that, it will show you a table, and you can download that table if you wish. Though I will show you the easiest way to download copies of your search results in a moment. The other option you've got for a table is View Species List. So this simply lists each individual species that is present within the search area, and it will give you a bit of a summary of the number of records and other information, but grouped by individual species. You have a couple more options here under this options cog. So you can see that you can display species using scientific name, the common name. You can also click to draw your broader resolution records as grid squares as opposed to these icons here. And you can also click to display records by search component. So if I select that, you can see that rather than showing them in individual taxonomic groups, it's been grouped by legally protected, priority species, and INS records. So that's another way that you can look at your species records. So I'm going to hide all of the species for the moment and move on to sites. The functionality is very similar to species, so I won't run through that too much. Again, you can change the colour of these by clicking on them. If you expand any of your sites lists, you can see it will list all the individual sites within. I'm going to click Show All, and it will load all of our sites. So you can see that this lists the site name, a site code, and you can see those represented on the maps. And there are numbers as well allocated to them, so you can easily see where they appear within your search area. If you hover over any of these sites list names, you'll get a short summary about that sites list. And if they are statutory sites, there should also be a short written piece about what legislation they fall under. You'll notice that we have split up our sites list slightly, a little bit differently to how we previously returned our results. So you'll see that for our local site systems, the sites are split into designated and candidate. and deleted, so they are split by status. This is York Sync that we can see here, but that's also the same case for local wildlife sites in East Yorkshire and our North Yorkshire Sync set of sites as well. The other thing that you can do here is if you would like to zoom into a particular site, you can use this magnifying glass and it will zoom in on the map and show you that specific site. There are a couple of filtering options, but these are much more limited than species. Instead, you just have the ability to search a distance from the central point of your search. So say if you're only interested in local sites within 1 kilometre of the central point, you can set that and filter that there. So I will hide all of our sites and I will expand habitats. Again, the functionality here is very similar as it is for sites. And you can see also that there is a table to view habitat records. So this doesn't show you records that fall within different habitats, but it gives you a summary of the habitat. So if I open that here, you can see it's listing our different habitats, the percentage cover, the area covered, and the minimum and maximum distance from that central point. So that's another table option. I also forgot to mention, if I just flick back to sites, there is a table option for sites. And again, in a similar way to habitats, that's listed as view site records. So again, it's not records that fall within the boundaries of those sites. But if you click on it, you'll see it's going to give you a summary of sites within your search area. And again, we've got distance given there from the central point. One addition that we've made to how we present the search results is this evaluation column. So where we have the information available primarily for our local wildlife site systems, you'll get a very short entry listing the feature that that site was designated for. So just a little bit of information about that site to give a little bit of context. So that is how you show different bits of data within your eMapper search and how you use this panel on the right-hand side. Obviously, you may well want to download these records. So the easiest way to do that is go to Menu, Download Report, and you'll see that this short menu shows up. I will go back to that. So you can see that this menu shows up to download your report. You have PDF, Excel, and shapefile options. You can download all of them. You can download one of them. You also have options to choose which records to include. So you can either choose all of them, or if you've set filters, you can set your download to just include those. And you've also got your access level here as well. For Excel, again, all are filtered. And for shapefile, you have an additional option to download as points, squares, or both. And once you've downloaded that data, it will essentially just show what we've been through in the eMapper window, but in PDF, Excel, or shapefile versions. You'll see that there is a section here about site citations. At the time of making this demo, we do not have those available, but we are hoping to introduce basic site citations for our local wildlife site systems in due course. So they will be available at no additional charge when we have them ready, and they will be accessed by just clicking on any of the sites displayed on the map, and you'll see the documents that you can download. And that is a quick summary of the eMapper system. Thank you very much for watching.